Hello and welcome to this video. My name is David Thorne. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this navigation bar using Flexbox. Okay, it isn't the most stylish navigation bar there is, but it's definitely functional, and this video will definitely show you exactly how you can do this, and it will teach you all about how to use Flexbox and how to position things and basically size things using it as well. Before we get started though, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, and if you do have any feedback or any things that you think that we could enhance the video, don't forget to put the comment in the comment section down below. I won't waste your time any further, so I'll hand you over to developer David for him to get started. So let's jump over to Visual Studio Code to see what we got. Right, so the HTML page at the moment is basically just a header, a hero message and a banner. The banner's got the background image and so on. We can show you here, background image, and then we've got the text in here. The header is the thing that we are concerned about. We can see we've got the header here of background here, and height of 120 pixels, width of 100%, and we're just giving it a font size of 2ms for the time being. All right, so this is the only thing that we need to worry about inside the class header. All right, and all of our code is going to go in here. We're not going to be concerned about the other parts. So what do we want to have first of all? Now you could use an unordered list for this, but because I want to show the power of display flex, or Flexbox, I'm going to use div tags, all right, but predominantly I would use an unordered list for this, okay, but just forgive me for this for now. So we're going to say nav item here, and within inside of this we're going to say then nav link, and we're just going to give it a href of then just the hash, and this one's going to be then home, and we'll just copy and paste this, format this a little bit, and copy and paste this, and then this is going to be services, contact, and about. So let's just quickly change these. Obviously you would change the href as well. Okay, so now let's have a look, and we can see it's super normal that we've got home, services, contact, and about. And as expected, because we're using div tags, they are taking up the full width, all right? And I could change the background color here, but you just have to trust me, is that they are taking up the full width of this one header, all right? And they are stacked one on top of the other, because that's how it works, all right? But if we want them to go horizontally, you know, other people before they would have used float, this, that, and the other. But that's the wrong way to do it in today's websites and so on, because there are new ways of doing it. And we can do this with display flex. Now, you might think that you could use like display inline blocks for the items. Yes, you could, but that would be redundant because we can do it far easier with display flex. So before we start defining any nav item or nav link classes, let's just say here display flex on our header, and that is it. And you'll see now that everything just goes horizontally on the x-axis. Okay, so when we come over and look at the div tag, all right, this is nothing new, but you'll see now that the div tag, rather than being taking up the full width of its parent, it's taking up the full height of it, because the axis is using a different axis this time, all right? And our anchor tag is doing exactly as it should do, being displayed in line with inside of the div nav item, because div nav item doesn't have display flex. It's a standard way, all right? So we now see that the nav item is taking up the full height rather than the full width because of the axis being different. So now that we've done this, we could say then flex direction column, and you'll see it goes back to how it was. And now the nav item is taking up the full width once again, and the anchor tag is doing as per normal, all right? And you can see that all of the anchor tags are different sizes because they're only take up the size of their content. And this is an important factor to understand, is that anchor tags are display in line, divs by default are display block, and so when we do display flex, that div tag is going to always take up the full width, all right? Now, with an unordered list, they're all display in line by default anyway, so you don't have to worry about it. This is why I'm trying to add the display inline and inline block with flex as well, for you to understand how these work, all right? Because it's a key thing to understand. All right, So now that we've done this, we can put this back to row, and we're going to keep it there. We don't have to have it there because it's by default row anyway. All right. So let's now give nav item some information, and let's define the nav link whilst we're at it. Now, one main thing that we always want on a navigation is to be able to hover over it and the background changes just that little bit. All right. So we have this color up here, and so let's come and say that when nav item has a hover on it, we're going to change the background color, and we're going to say the alpha, and we're going to say like 0.5, and then the we have the color is then going to be, let's just say 666 for the time being. All right, so let's have a look at this. And so now you can see that the color is changing to be different when we hover. And when we hover over the anchor tag, we still get the cursor pointer. All right, so we can see this is working fine, but we want our anchor tag now to take up the full height and width of its parent. Right, so we're going to have to tell it to basically be display block first of all right? And you can see now that all the anchor tags are taking up exactly the same width, or they're taking up, yeah, they're still working basically the same. But what we can do is say width 100, but this doesn't change anything, right? If we take away the display block, you'll see that they are still taking up the full width. And if we say display block, they still take up the full width, because our div tag is only the height, the width of it is relative to its content, all right? So it really just doesn't matter on this. So we can add padding onto this nav link anyhow we want, because we know that the parent is going to be exactly its content size, all right? So we can add in, say, like a padding of a vertical padding of nothing, but we're going to say 1.5 ems left or right. So now you can see that we've got this here, all right? But when we hover over, you see when we hover over the left and right, the padding, we get now our cursor, right? So we're nearly there. Let's just say text decoration is none on this as well to remove that. So now we want to be able to align the text all the way, but we have to first of all know that the anchor tag is going to take up the full height. So we can do this by saying display flex with inside the nav item as well. And flex direction really doesn't matter in this. We're going to use column just for the sake of it. And now justify content is always going in the direction of its axis, and that would be the vertical axis. So we want it to be center aligned on this. Now align items, we want this to stretch, all right? So we want it to know it's stretch all the way. And as you can see, boom, we've got everything working now, all right? But our cursor only goes over the anchor tag. So we want to be able to have a height 100%, right? And this could mess things up a little bit. Let's just remove align items stretch here and see what we get now. No? Well, why is this happening? Well, it's because it's the link is still display in line. But when we change this, we're still not working. No? Okay. So let's change the nav item. Oh, I was supposed to do this there. It was the wrong one. Okay, so now I put the height 100% on the wrong thing. It should have been on nav link. That's why it should have worked the first time. All right, so now we can say align items center to. We can remove. We keep the padding, but now what we want to have is that the navlink's content itself, is center aligned. All right. Now we have to do, we have to remove this display block because we're going to overwrite it here. And now you can see that once we do this, we should be able to hover everything here, and it goes as per normal. All right, as we expected, and our buttons change how they should do. I think I'm going to just reduce down the text size or the font size of the anchor tag. Where did I put it? Header, let's say like 1.4 maybe. It looks a bit better. 1.6. Yeah, okay, that'll do fine. So here you see now we have a navigation, a header that spans the whole width that we wanted it to be, and now we have the items within inside of there. Yeah, and you can enhance this a whole bunch more. Now we're not here to style this. This video is not about styling navigation bars, but it's just about the utility of it and about how you develop and you can use the div tags and the anchor tags. Like I said, using the unordered lists and the list items is way easier, but it's always a good to understand how you can do this yourself. With that said, I hope you've got something out of this one video. And I hope you've learned something. It sometimes can get a little bit complicated about when you should display this and height that. But after a little bit of trial and error, you do get there. You see, I had a couple of problems as well. I don't like cutting that stuff out. I like to show you how I debug things myself. If you did like this video, please feel free or think about giving it a like, because it helps the algorithm to allow other people to find this content as well. And if you did find it helpful, then maybe someone else will find it helpful too. If you didn't like the video or there was something in it that you thought was wrong, put it in the comment section below. I'm only going to find it brilliant that you take the time out to comment on one of my videos. And if you can enhance my videos in the future, I'm definitely going to thank you for it. And if you didn't like it, just write what you want as well. Anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.